Found out end of summer 2007 that we were expecting my first baby, so I was very, very excited. Great pregnancy. I wasn't sick. I just loved being pregnant.
It was the week of Thanksgiving, 1991, and I had always dreamed of having a big family, so I was excited. My first pregnancy.
I had an ultrasound at 9 weeks, and it was twins, and it was very obvious. The doctor didn't even have to say that we were having twins, and I was so excited.
Well, in 2002, my wife Susan, we learned that she was pregnant with our first son, and she went 38 weeks into the pregnancy. One day she didn't feel Garrison moving, so we got on the phone with the doctor. The doctor asked us to come to the hospital to do an ultrasound, so we got in a vehicle and went to the hospital. They did an ultrasound. They did several by several different people and still couldn't find a heartbeat. So that's when they informed us that Garrison was gone. And it was real hard. It was real hard as a father, husband. But I found strength in God, and my wife was super strong. She pulled me along right with her. I fed off of her emotions, and we made it through, and we knew that this was for a reason. This was in February. The following Mother's Day, we found out she was pregnant again on that day. And we were super happy, yet nervous at the same time. At 21 weeks on a scheduled ultrasound, the specialist noticed that the baby was growing just fine, just the way he needed to be growing, but there was a problem with his blood flow in the umbilical cord. It was not constant. The doctor said if you can make it to, there was some magical number, 24 weeks, 5 days, something like that, and this baby has a real good chance. So that's what we decided. Absolutely, we got to do this. So at 25 weeks, Seth was born. He weighed 1 pound 10 ounces. He was 13 inches long. He was very sick. His lungs weren't working correctly, so they gave him surfactant, which helped inflate the lungs. And surfactant was researched and developed by the March of Dimes, which is why he is here today. That is why we are an advocate of the March of Dimes, and we ask everybody to do the same so other children have the same chance of survival as Seth has.
Found out end of summer 2007 that we were expecting my first baby, so I was very, very excited. Great pregnancy. I wasn't sick. I just loved being pregnant. Everything was going great until probably 25 weeks or so. Something just kind of felt not right. The umbilical cord of my baby was prolapsed, causing his heart rate to drop. Cooper was born at 3 pounds 6 ounces, and we'd been told before I had the C-section that I might not even be able to see him, depending on what his health was. They might have to take him that fast. I was in the hospital for a few more days, and then we went home, and going home without your baby in the back seat is heartbreaking. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. After a couple weeks just going up to the hospital when we could, I met Jen with the March of Dimes NICU family support and attended the parent hours where, each week they'd have a specialist or a nurse even on a topic. And that was great because when you go see your baby, you head straight for the isolette, and it's your baby, and that's all you see, and you don't know what else is going on. So these parent hours were a chance to see other parents and kind of feel in this helpless situation where you couldn't really do anything for your baby, that you could do something. We feel blessed every day with how well things have turned out for us after a scary situation. Enjoying every minute. He's changing so fast. His health is great. We haven't had any problems, so we're absolutely blessed.
It was something I always wanted, to have twins, and so I felt like my prayers were being answered, and we were thrilled. At 20 weeks, I went in for my appointment, just regular appointment, and I had gained 21 pounds in like 3 weeks. And I was starting to put on fluid, and my doctor from Billings said, you know, this is out of my league, and I'm going to send you to Denver. And the next morning, I was on my way to Denver. Was diagnosed with twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, which only occurs in identical twins. It's very rare diagnosis. And so I was put on bed rest immediately in the hospital in Denver and made it for 6 weeks. I remember just a lot of people in that room that night, but then I had a lot of problems after the delivery too, so we all ended up going to different intensive care units. In October of 1997, this was Brooke's Halloween costume. I remember my mother-in-law being so angry because she was going to be a witch, and she didn't think she should be a witch because she was so little and so sweet. Now, we just have such a healthy 11-year-old girl. She participates in many sports and does very well, and she loves soccer, she loves basketball, and is football. She loves to play football, and she does gymnastics, so she's just really a blessing.
I don't remember a lot about that morning, but I do remember Dr. Perico holding her up and saying, "It's a girl, does she have a name?" And I said, "Jess Hannah Rose." Due to her prematurity and her size, all of her systems, her organs were premature and underdeveloped. Her biggest problem was always respiratory, though. She was on the ventilator, and then CPAP, and then on oxygen. She did not get Cervanta because in 1992 they were just trialing it, and she did not fit the criteria for the trial. So she would have benefited from it and probably had better lung function for the rest of her life if she had had it. We took her home the first time in September 6th, and she weighed 5 pounds 3 ounces, and we were at home for 16 days before she had to go back into the hospital. Many times you are away from home, you're stressed, you're lonely, your spouse is at home because they have to work, and having this relationship with the March of Dimes provides a program in the nursery where you can form friendships and lasting relationships that will last even after you do take your babies home. When Hannah started first grade, I decided that I wanted to go back to college and to become a nurse. So I went to school and I became an RN with the goal of working in the intensive care nursery. And I have worked in the intensive care nursery for 6.5 years and taken care of many families. Every situation is different. You have full-term babies who are not healthy, and you have micro-preemies who have severe problems. But every family goes through the same stresses. You have a sick child and you have no control over it, and it's very hard on them. We're very lucky here in Billings to have a program called the NICU Family Support Specialist that is sponsored by the March of Dimes, that comes into our unit, and she provides support to our families. She has resources for them to help them through these times, and it's just a great opportunity for the families to get to know each other and to spend time together and to bond. So this past year we were honored to be the ambassador family for the March of Dimes for 2008, and we went to several of the walks, and Hannah got to give speeches and tell her story, and we've had several people who have told us that she's an encouragement to them, and we're very thankful that we've had this opportunity.